have both.
Court is in session with Ryan in Sacktown on If You Don't Like That. Now, Ryan in Sacktown.
Oh, must be Ryno.
Great success.
Good morning, Second Kings Court Morning Edition, shoot around, whatever we're going to call it. Here with you, we've got a big day of content going on. We've got this to begin. Grant will be on right here on If You Don't Like That later tonight. And also, Fox Sports Sacramento, Spud Webb joins Grant today. I believe that's going to be in the second segment of Hour 1. And also, Byron Scott is scheduled to join us. I have never met Byron Scott in person, but I have been around Byron Scott, and dude just always looks so intense and locked in. So that will be a fun conversation as well. We're getting some kinks worked out around here. You know, the coffee. How am I going to ensure my coffee stays hot throughout the show? I'm not going to go buy one of those little heating plates for a special coffee cup that keeps it warm. Not doing that. I think I might move the coffee maker into the studio. Like, what if I just put it by the beam behind me? I think that would work. I could just swing around, freshen it up, all good to go. Yeah, I think so. Hey, anybody remember Loyola of Chicago? Loyola of Chicago. They were one of the Cinderella teams in the NCAA tournament in 2018. And while you'd want to be remembered because of your basketball play, they were just as remembered by somebody that was attending all of their games. Do you remember Sister Jean of Loyola of Chicago? She was the mascot. She was the good luck charm. She was kind of America's sweetheart. She went viral. At the time, she was in her mid to late 90s. Well, check this out. Sister Jean has decided to retire from her official campus duties at Loyola of Chicago at the age of 106. She was still working at 106. What's the secret, sister? 106. Sister Jean. Now, if anybody deserves a retirement party, it's Sister Jean. Holy moly. My grandma has made it to 100. You hit triple digits, you're doing something right. I want to know what you're doing. So, 106 years old, retiring from campus duties, but she wants everybody to remember health is more important. It's a good reminder. It's a very good reminder. Also, I put Trey Lyles on the thumbnail today because we focused a lot of this offseason for the Kings on the backload at the guard position. How is Doug Christie going to play everyone? Who's going to be the odd man out? And that all is still to be determined. We still have 4 days until media day. Something theoretically could change. Is it likely? Probably not. Unless there's somebody Houston really likes on the Kings. And Scott Perry picked up that phone, which I have not heard anything to that tune. One thing we're not talking about is how thin the Kings are at the forward and center position. And something that reminded me of that today was finding out that Precious Achiuwa, Knicks forward, a guy that came in, he had some athleticism, he was stuck behind Mitchell Robinson and some others, Tibbs not playing a ton of players, but a guy that has a lot of upside. He just signed with the Miami Heat. Now, there is kind of a funny thing about this report. Now, he's definitely signed with the Heat, but the contract reporting
Don't make no sense.
kind of doesn't make any sense. I was looking at Hoops Hype this morning, and help me work through this. Can you help me on this? Because I'm not understanding. Free agent center / forward Precious Achua has agreed to a 1-year deal with the Miami Heat. And then it goes on to say, Anthony Chang is the one that put this out. It's a fully non-guaranteed 1-year contract. 60% of the time it works every time. It's a fully non-guaranteed contract. What? That's got to be a typo. A fully non-guaranteed. Okay. He goes on to say, so no move to the standard roster is needed now. So I think what he meant to put is it's a non-guaranteed, not a fully non-guaranteed, a non-guaranteed contract, which makes me ask this question. If the Kings want to play fast, if the Kings want to play scrappy, and you're thin at that position, how is he not on your radar? And maybe he was. Maybe it is a guy that Scott Perry pursued. But coming into free agency, if you ask me if Precious Achua, and I'm not saying this guy is going to be a game changer, but he's definitely worth a non-guaranteed spot in camp. I would have thought he would have got a guaranteed 1-year contract somewhere. So it makes me wonder, again, is it a situation where maybe he doesn't hit the 6 standards that Scott Perry's looking for? Maybe it's a situation that Precious was not interested in Sacramento and the Kings were. Or maybe the Kings weren't looking at him at all. I just have a hard time swallowing that guy is on a non-guaranteed contract. For those that don't understand that, that means he is basically promised training camp. That's what he's promised. The Kings just re-signed Terrence Davis to one of those deals. We're bringing you in for training camp. Back to the Kings front line. You've got Eubanks. You've got Ryno. You've got Isaac Jones. And you have Domantas Sabonis. Keegan Murray is your starter. When the Kings signed Eubanks, I thought that was closer to, how do you want to put it? Closer to, I don't want to say a Doug McDermott signing, because Doug is so much more textured and been a part of the league much longer. But I thought Eubanks was going to be one of those guys like, you need to fill out the roster. But as we're looking at it, and we don't know, I know IJ has had a very good summer. I know that IJ has the raw athleticism to be able to have an impact here and there on an NBA team. But the Kings are trying to get IJ to morph more towards a power forward rather than a center, which is why you've seen IJ shooting the 3 ball a little bit more. That was a big thing they mixed into his summer routine. They wanted him to get a corner 3 down. But if I'm looking directly at the center position, we're considering Ryno a center. So it's Eubanks, Sabonis, and Ryno. How do you feel about that? Rolling into the season as we sit today. Some other things going on. We have an NFL poll that came out, much like the NBA one that we discussed yesterday. We can go over that. ESPN has dropped their top 100 players. I've not seen 50 to 1. I have seen 100 to 51. DeMar DeRozan, number 80 on that list. Zach LaVine, number 72 on that list. And number 71 in front of Zach LaVine, Kobe White. Interesting, as they were teammates. So we can get to that as well. Still a lot of talk about Tom Brady and ethics. He came out and had something to say. Look, Tom Brady is not going to go on camera on Monday Night Football in the booth if there was anything wrong with him being in the booth. This is being blown out of proportion, especially on the back end of it. Do you think even if Tom Brady, being a minority owner in the Raiders, even if teams didn't know that he's talking to the coaches and he's consulting with the offense on game day, even if teams didn't know that, do you really believe coaches and players are going to share their secret sauce with Tom Brady in production meetings? No, that guard is already up. Can we get rid of this story already? There's too much good going on in sports right now. So, what's up, MC? Good morning, man. Spread the word. We are doing the morning show here on If You Don't Like That. We'll be doing maybe about an hour every day if I'm not at the Kings facility. So, some days I might be doing it from Fox, so you'll have a different scenery in the background. But we will be here most mornings, 10 o'clock on If You Don't Like That. Good morning, Dennis. See if my coffee's still warm. Yeah, it is. Oh, that's good. That's really good. I'm one of those. I'm coffee pot guy. I'm not Keurig guy. For whatever reason, the Keurig, it feels like there's a distinct flavor that comes along with whatever type of pod you put in there. So, Smart, Beam, and Beans. We talking about an English breakfast? Been tuning into Dave's IG feed too much? Beans in the morning? What exactly is on those plates? It's like beans, it's a sunny side up egg, some type of sausage. Don't even try to put a blood sausage on my plate. That's not happening. It's a different breakfast for sure. Peter, multitasking. I'll be in and out. Don't know how long I can stay. Well, thanks for dropping by, Peter. Appreciate you, my man. Ramblers. All right. What's good, Flores? Happy Wednesday. If you're just joining us, Spud Webb going to join the show today on Fox Sports Sacramento 104.7 FM. Hey, I do want to address one thing along the lines with that show. We have received a ton of warranted comments. I want to make that clear. Warranted comments about what's going on. Why can we not get the show on podcast? I quickly want to tell you, besides putting out an awesome daily show with guests that you don't normally hear here in Sacramento and perspectives that are different and giving you programming that is not 24/7 Kings. Besides that aspect of it that Grant and I are most focused on, the second most important thing is the podcast. I can promise you we are, trust me, we understand in this day and age how important, how standard a podcast is attached to any broadcast at this point. It has been something that has been beyond our control. However, with that being said, it is imminent. It is imminent. Like, we are talking almost here, could be here by the end of the week in some shape or form. So I want to, everybody that has sent us comments, that sent us emails, that has DM'd us, who has X'd at us. Can we still just say tweets? Feels so weird saying X'd. Anyways, I digress. We're on it, and we share your concern. We share your frustration. No, it is absolutely at the top of our list. In fact, when I get to the station today, my first meeting is a follow-up meeting on that. So I just wanted to get that message out there loud and clear for you. As of now, you can find the replays of the show on the Fox Sports Sacramento YouTube channel. I get why that's a little bit of a hassle. It's not time stamped. It's hard to scroll through because it's a 3-hour broadcast. I get it. Okay. Just know we are on it. They better name the gym after her, right? Sister Jane, man. 106. God bless her. How about that? Hey, what's up, Mark? Gravy. Okay, how did you get the nickname Gravy, Mark? I need to know that. Taxes in Florida over Cali taxes? I don't think so, because isn't Florida property tax? Isn't it no property tax in Florida? And remember, they make up for it. I'll make up for it now. Sorry, that's my jungle Tourette's. But you get hit in other places. I have a friend that lives in, you guys know my friend. He does the wrestling segment here on this show that lives in Texas. And yes, there is no income tax, but I can promise you the property taxes are much higher in that part of the country to make up for it. So Terrence Davis was a non-guaranteed $1.3 million contract. He signed a 10-day exhibit contract. Yeah. Someone said the 10-day exhibit was about the G League. It could be. Yeah, it could be. It's too early to tell. One of the report. You know what? I am not. I am not too prideful to admit this on the air. I had to ask somebody. I had been covering the G League for a year already, and I had to ask somebody about how that system worked out, and I was surprised at the answer. So the answer to that is, unless you are a two-way player, and every team has 3, the Kings already have their 3 two-way players right now. You are not signed to the team you are playing for. You are signed with the G League, which means any team can come and get you. So the Kings will start to put together, start to probably try to finalize that middle part of the Stockton roster, because some of the guys that are in training camp may flow down to Stockton if they're not claimed by another team. I mean, there's a lot of guys that just training camp. It's important. You're not just trying out and working out for the team that you're in camp with. You're doing it for the entire NBA. And remember, with the NBA, so few jobs compared to the NFL and baseball. Is the coffee hot? Yes, it is. It's got to be super hot, yo. Super, super hot. Yeah, I know. I have no idea how he's done that. I don't know. Good morning, Moss. What's up, dude? I need to get Moss to Bennett's, man. I say that every time. Hope you're well. Hey, Moss. Moss, I would love to talk to you about what Houston's thinking right now with Van Vliet going down. I would love to talk to you about that. when you have time. Hit me up. We hit that. Rich, what's up, dude? Down in San Diego, morning from the world's finest city and proud home of the playoff-bound Padres. Yes, indeed. They are on their way to the playoffs. San Diego, Rich, they actually show out pretty well for the Padres. They do. As much as you think, and maybe it's upticked a little bit because the Chargers aren't there anymore. But even back in the day when I was in school and we went to Qualcomm for baseball games, and then eventually Petco opened up during my time down there and we started going to the games over there, they always showed up for the most part. But yes, dude, it's the best city I love that city. Best city in America. If you gave me, for my taste, and what is my oasis? My oasis is the ocean. It is 100% the ocean. It's the water. Wouldn't want to be anywhere else. Take me to La Jolla. Take me to Coronado on the back end of the Hotel Del. By the way, if you've ever been to the Hotel Del, amazing facility. But the back end of that hotel and resort, the beach on the back end of that, I swear to you, you feel like you were just time traveled. You were just transplanted and put on Kaanapali Beach in Maui. It feels that way, especially at sunset. So awesome. Rich checking in from San Diego. What's up, Eric? Yes, we're going to get back to podcasting. You and I need to get together soon, Eric. Hope you're doing well, bud. Polly Mac channel. Polly gave me the nickname. Oh, okay. All right. Gravy. Polly Mac. That's a sports show, right? Think so. What's up, Dorian? I love Seattle too, for sure. Seattle's just a little bit different. You're not really doing the beach stuff. But going to Pike's Market, dude, yeah. The last time we were in Seattle was, man, it was right after COVID. It was like 6 to 7 months after COVID and the new NFL season where everybody could attend the games. And we went for the Niners and the Seahawks, and we sat in the crow's nest. What was really interesting to me was there was a ton of Niners fans, but like we talked about on Fox yesterday, it doesn't really show up in Seattle because not a lot of people sell their tickets, and you have to have the right billing zip code, a local zip code to buy tickets from the Seahawks, which I don't have a problem with. Some of you might have a problem with that. But still, a decent amount of Niners fans made the trip. But what I found interesting was the banter leading up to the game, not just game day, but we got there on a Friday and we left on Monday. And our flight up to Seattle was full of Niners fans. But it was friendly. It was fun. It wasn't mean. It was joking around. Like when rivalries are fun and not nasty, it was like that. The classy San Francisco Niners fans made that trip. So Paul used to be on KNBR. Cool. Awesome. All right. So, okay. How did he get you to Gravy, though? That's what I'm wondering, man. How did you get Gravy? Because your calls were so good. I'm just curious how you come up with that nickname. Anyways, I've laid out some different things that we can talk about. Precious Achua to the Miami Heat on a non-guaranteed contract. I don't see any way that he's playing in the G League this year. I'm sorry. If anybody's thinking that, he's going to be on an NBA roster, which made me ask the question, how is this guy not on the Kings' radar? And maybe he was. Maybe he didn't want to come to Sacramento. But I think he would have fit in really nicely with what the Kings do. Now, he's skinnier. He's not as physical, but he's athletic as heck. I think he can guard. Patrick, if you are out there, somewhere lurking on your lunch hour in Long Island. Oh, by the way, I've got a beef about Long Island here in a second. But he was athletic enough to guard the forward position too. He was. I just have good memories of Precious Achua. It's hard to swallow that this dude was still out there. Now he's signing a non-guaranteed contract to attend training camp. Blows my mind. Maybe I'm making too much of it. Anybody worried about the Warriors? They've got 9 players under contract. I know Dennis came in here with his mystery sources and said, well, they have agreements with agents. Okay, well, agreements fall through. They do. Unless it's Rich Paul. Then they fall through. But you are days from training camp. 9 players. I ask, he delivers. I am very curious about this Houston Rockets team now that Fred VanVleet has gone down with a torn ACL and what that's going to mean for them. Do they lean on Reed Shepherd a little bit more? Are they going to look to bring in a point guard? I do know this. I said it yesterday on the morning show that Houston, if you read between the lines of what they did this offseason, what they did was put together a roster that will keep Kevin Durant clean. What I mean by that is Kevin Durant can get the looks he wants on offense without facilitating. And more importantly, defensively, they've stacked that front line. So he does not need to be down there. He can float a little bit. You want to let him kind of glide up and down the court. You want to hide him on defense. You want to let him play free safety, a la De'Aaron Fox at times here in Sacramento. And so I remind you of that because it makes me wonder what the Rockets are going to look for now in what was going to be a very important position, the point guard position. So we bring in Mr. Moss, our good friend and Rockets expert. What's up, Moss?
Hey, how you doing, Ryno?
Good. Good morning.
Good morning to you too, man. First and foremost, man, you guys are doing such an awesome job, man. I've been listening.
Thank you.
You guys are on your way. The way you guys articulate, communicate, bring the people what they want, the content. Let me tell you something, man. Just awesome. And I mean that, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you.
You know what I'm saying? Just
Thank
a
you,
great
brother.
job. My Rockets didn't expect that news about Fred, right?
Right.
Champ, leader, somewhat of a pit bull. We saw him last year versus Golden State shoot the ball well finally, right? He had a pretty good series, games, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Yep.
This is devastating because, like you said, like they're trying to keep Kevin Durant, right? Like if you don't know, like they're still kind of at a stalemate because Kevin hasn't signed the extension, right? And so Houston's trying to do everything we can do to keep him. And so this roster was built so he doesn't have to come in and do too much. I thought Kevin did too much in Phoenix.
Yep.
And the one thing I don't want is Kevin Durant at the top of the key being, quote unquote, the point guard or the dictator or the facilitator. He's no longer that guy. He turns the ball over. He doesn't handle traps and double teams the right way. We saw it in Phoenix with their poor fourth quarter execution. And so what this does now is, like you said, Ryno, a move has to be made. You talked about Reed Shepherd, young fella, miniature guard. We know he shot it well in college, best in the country. Has he shown flashes of that? Not really. Has he got an opportunity to show it? Not really.
Right.
But I'm not a big fan of just throwing Reed to the wolves and saying, go run this team, right? So Amin Thompson, right? Amin, a guy who us Rockets fans feel like he's not your prototypical point guard, but he can do enough to get by. There's guys out there, Ryno, right? I'm not sure Russ is signed yet, but I don't want him. There's 2 guys I want, but it's going to be a long shot. One guy makes $7 million a year for the next 2 or 3 years, $8 million his last season, and that's Payne Pritchardson in Boston.
Oh,
right?
boy. Yeah.
And so that's going to be tough to kind of peel him away from Boston, but if I'm the Rockets, right? You have pieces, you have some attractive little pieces to go get him, and it's all about if Boston wants to do that. I'm not sure they do. TJ McConnell down there in Indiana, right? I know Tyrese isn't there, so maybe they're going to lean on him. But I'm naming guys that are kind of hard to get.
You want the guys that don't grow on trees, man.
Yeah,
Those
yeah.
are.
I mean,
Hey,
just
let me give
yes.
you a name really
Okay.
quick, and I don't think he'll be available because I think he just got extended. But Colin Gillespie in
Ooh,
Phoenix, he is. If we're gonna call, like Sabonis Jokic Jr. or
yeah.
Diet Jokic, he's kind of that up and coming to me, TJ McConnell.
I agree 1,000%. He had some good moments last season in Phoenix. He had the one game where he had a good fourth quarter. I forgot what game it was, but he was a big piece to that. I can't remember. But let me just end on this last note here. Maybe we just get by right until trade deadline or the buyout market, and we see what's out there. Obviously, I don't think Fred's coming back this season, and if he does, it's a long shot, right? And so, I really think that Ime is going to put the trust in Amin Thompson. But again, I want Amin to be kind of in that Aaron Gordon phase where he's just roaming the baseline and putbacks and offensive rebounds and defending. And I don't want Amin to be tasked with being a point guard because that's just not who he is. And so I think you're right, man. I think Houston may have to rely on a Reed Shepard for a little bit. But, other than that, Ryno, Davion Mitchell, that's a guy that I think
he just got paid.
Yeah, he just got paid. So I'm naming guys that are going to be tough to get, obviously,
Can I ask you a quick question?
Sure.
And it's just a hypothetical. If the Kings were the only other team in the NBA that the Rockets were allowed to trade for or trade with, which point on the roster would you think the Rockets value the most?
Like right now?
Right now.
It would be Dennis Schroeder, in my opinion.
Schroeder?
Okay. Yeah, it'll be Schroeder. Because, he's the only thing that I think fits what we need right now after the injury, right? I didn't mention, I'm not sure if it's Aaron or Justin Holiday. He's on the roster as well. He shoots it both from downtown. But to answer your question, I don't think as Rocket fans, we go for the best player. We go for the best fit. And right now, based on what we do defensively and what we need now that Fred's gone, to me, it's Dennis Schroeder, right? A veteran guard who can just run offense, right? And who can hit perimeter shots. That's what we need. And Keon Ellis, a Malik Monk, just to throw a couple more names out there. But I don't see us doing any business with the Sacramento Kings.
Yeah, I don't.
That's a long shot, man. But
I was just curious who you thought would fit their system well.
Yeah, Keon, Dennis, because we in Houston, Ryno, it begins and it starts and ends with defense, and the offense is second after that, and that's important, obviously. But I think Kevin Durant will take care of that business, and so we just need a guy to come in and not turn the ball over. Somewhat of a veteran presence, kind of what Fred gives you a little bit, right?
Yeah,
a guy who's not afraid to put guys in the proper spots and call guys out on the court. And I think Dennis is somewhat like that. He's been around. I think he garners somewhat of respect. He has a little cachet around the league, per se. But yeah, man. So that's my thoughts, man. I think we're built to withstand the injury. I think we'll still be a top 2-3 seed. But when it's all said and done in a 7-game series, OKC, Denver, Dallas, we need Fred, man. I'm sorry, we need Fred, and I just gotta be a realistic fan saying that we can get by, Ryno. But if you're asking me, can we win it all without Fred or another piece? I don't think so, man. I don't think so.
You needed everything to break exactly right, including staying healthy. And basically, the way I see it, and you kind of emphasize this, the Rockets want Team USA version of Kevin Durant, the way that he plays with that crew offensively. And now I think defensively it doesn't change a ton for you, but offensively I'm with you. I don't want to see him facilitating.
Yeah, for sure. Hey, man, like always enjoy
Yep.
the conversation back and forth. We're almost here, man. It's almost go time. NBA season's upon us. And
Yep.
so my favorite part of the season or year, obviously. So I'm
Amen.
for that, man. And so we'll talk some more in the future, man.
Heck yeah.
Yes,
Mr.
sir.
Moss, thanks for checking in and making the time. That means a lot to me. It really does. Don't know what he was doing. Probably working, dropped everything to call. Really appreciate that because honestly, if I have a Houston Rockets question, I'm going to him. I'm going to him. I'm going to Law Murray and maybe one other person. Yeah, I'd probably start with those two. Interesting situation for the Rockets. Not the news that you want to hear. And quite frankly, it's probably not the last time we're going to hear news like that as we creep into training camp. We've seen other guys that have gone down. Tyler Hero had surgery already. For those that don't know, the Kings, this September month, let me kind of, and please, if you don't want to hear this, if you know this, tell me to shut up. But August is the off month, okay? That is when people in the front office, that's when people take their vacations. That is all right, we're going to vacation and we get back, it's go time, right? And September is when the players usually get to Sacramento. Now, they're not allowed to have formal practices, but they can have open gyms without the coaches. And that is what they've been doing largely for this entire month. So when you hear these training injuries that are happening, it's in other teams function the exact same way. It's not mandatory, but y'all know how that works. If you've ever been on a sports team, it's not mandatory, but it's mandatory. It's going to be a bad look if you're not there. Dennis Schroeder, obviously excluded because he's been playing internationally. So guys have been working. They're going to come into shape. They're going to come into training camp in decent shape. Now, that being said, I still think there's a couple of shoes to drop in the NFL or in the NBA. There were too many teams. And by the way, I really believe at the end of the day, when we look back on this Kuminga thing, we're going to be all like, what were we thinking? And I don't mean that in any disrespect to Jonathan Kuminga, but it blows my mind in this NBA with this CBA that not just one team, not two teams, multiple teams had moves ready that were hinged on whether Kuminga moved or not. Like it was LBJ moving. It's like, holy moly. I mean, I guess there's the argument he was probably the best available out of the restricted four. But come on. And if I'm Chicago, I've not talked about this at length because I haven't been on here. Chicago extended Josh Giddey. They gave Josh Giddey exactly what he wanted. What are they going to do with Kobe White? I mean that. This is his contract year. He's making 12.7. Tell you what, if I'm the Rockets and we're at the trade deadline and Kobe is available, oh boy. Kobe is a name that I am very, very high on. His IQ is through the roof. He's explosive. He can score. He's your quote-unquote prototypical point guard, quarterback. So I find that really interesting because if I look at Josh Giddey and I look at Kobe White, I look at Kobe White as way more valuable to the Bulls than Josh Giddey. Are they going to have two point guards? Because that's what Josh Giddey is. He's a point guard. Are they going to have two point guards making over $100 million a year? I don't know. We'll see. By the way, I do want to get to really quick the Ryder Cup, and I'm not going to beat you over the head with golf, but we've talked a lot about it on Fox, and I understand the prestige, I understand the tradition, I understand it's Team USA versus Europe, right? And there's been this entire conversation about how this thing could be swayed by the Long Island crowd. The Ryder Cup's taking place at Bethpage Black on Long Island, right? We had Steve Sands on the Fox show yesterday talking about how the fans could turn on Team USA if they're not playing well, how they're going to make it really tough for Team Europe right off the bat on the first day. And you're going to see fans with a polo shirt that's a size too small, tucked in to jorts, holding 7 empty beer cups with 1 full one on top. It's going to be that atmosphere, right? And that's what you want if you are Team USA. You want the closest thing you can get to kind of that Happy Gilmore crowd, right? But then I see this. Like, if there was ever a time to not do this, this would be the time and place. Because I can't really think of too many fights that I've seen at golf tournaments. And trust me, there are plenty of adult beverages flowing at golf tournaments. But somebody dropped the prices for alcohol and liquor at the Ryder Cup. A Michelob Ultra 16 ounce, $15. 25 ounce, $18. By the way, why even have the $15 beer on the menu? Who's not going to pay $3 more for 9 more ounces of beer? 9 more ounces of beer. Michelob Ultra Zero, $12. Bud Light, $15. Premium beer, $16. Premium beer, 19.2 ounces, $19. Bud Light Seltzer, $16. High Noon Tequila Seltzer, $16. If you want a mixed drink, it's going to set you back even more. An all-American transfusion, $19.50. A mulligan, $19.50. A dark and stormy, that sounds weird, $17.50. You can't get anything with liquor in it that doesn't have a 17 or higher in front of it. Normally, I am not for people getting liquored up at places, but the Ryder Cup screwed up here, man. This is where you take a little bit of hit on the profit and loss sheet. This is where you go masters and you make a sandwich, $3. A beer, $3. You want that atmosphere. Now, it's New York fan. It's Long Island. It's the Ryder Cup. The fans are going to pay it. They'll pay it. You're going to get that guy that Steve Sands described yesterday on the show. But I don't think you're going to have as many of those guys. You can't do that. You've got to lower those prices. Now, if you ask me about the prices at SoFi for a Chargers game or a Rams game, I'm going to tell you they should be doubled what the Ryder Cup is charging. Because we see what happens there. Dude, Bethpage, PGA of America. Come on. Keegan Bradley, captain, get these things lowered. Man, that's what you want for a tournament like that, man. You got to do everything you can to get the best out of those fans. And I know it doesn't take much to get the best out of New York fan. But, man, don't do anything to step on their toes. That's too much. I don't like it. I don't. How does live affect the Ryder Cup? It doesn't. It does not. Keegan Bradley can choose players that are on. It's because it's not the PGA Tour. It's the Steve Sands made this line yesterday. The Ryder Cup is not put on by the PGA Tour. It's put on by the PGA of America, which makes anybody that's an American citizen eligible to play. Honestly, the people going to these events probably can afford it, but it's still ridiculous. This might be unpopular, but alcohol needs to go away at sporting events or limit one with how fans act. Yeah. You know, there's I don't want to offend anybody here, because I do think there is a difference in the effects of an alcoholic beverage and cannabis or THC. The argument could be made, well, how do you know they're not impaired on that versus the alcohol? How do you not know it's a crossfade? How does that play into it? As soon as you attack the alcohol, what I'm telling you, and I'm not trying to make this argument, is alcohol fan or alcohol backer is going to fire back about cannabis, and you're going to get that back and forth if you do it. I look, Dorian, we know what the problem is, and quite frankly, some of these people, I don't think it's as much. And I hate to say this, like I literally hate to say this, because some of my best times at football games have been tailgating. It's part of the experience. And 98% of the people that tailgate, they do it responsibly. Right? But then the other 2% that think bringing a 12-pack in your car is tailgating, and then drinking them as fast as you can walking up to the stadium because the alcohol is allowed open in the parking lot in the tailgating areas. Those are the problem people. It's the people that are power drinking to get the buzz before they enter the building. So then they're paying the $20 to try to maintain. And what happens? We all know it's the law of diminishing returns. Once you hit that point, you've hit that point. It ain't coming back. But what are you going to do? You're going to chase it. You're going to try to rally. And what ends up happening? It usually leads to sloppiness. It usually leads to getting sick. Some people black out. Not only that, you're in a very rowdy atmosphere. A lot of testosterone flowing at a football game. I think really it's the drinking before you come into the game. And again, for all of you, exactly, for all of you that responsibly tailgate, that take pride in your tailgating, that invite fans to your tailgates that you don't know, you are not the problem. You have never been the problem. That's been going on for as long as football has been around during my lifetime. the uptick in fights at stadiums has spiked over the last 5 years. You're not the problem, responsible tailgater. It's the other people that are just trying to get as drunk as quick as possible and get into the game. So I don't want tailgating taken away from the people that do it responsibly. So I think that's where the problem is. Yes, there's a handful of people that are going to drop $200 in the building for drinks because they think they look cool. Oh, I met this girl. I'm going to buy her a drink. Yada, yada, yada. Let's do shots. Yada, yada, yada. Yes, there will be a group, but I think that's a little bit of a smaller subset. I think most people that go to a game and buy alcohol, they do it responsibly. I do. I think for every one person that's carrying around 9 empty cups with the 10th full beer sitting inside of it, for every one of those guys, I think there's 10 to 15 people that drink responsibly. Where I would say if you have a driver, and everybody's tolerance is different, between 1 to 3 beers at a game, 1 to 3 drinks at a game. Again, it is the classic saying, you know, the one rotten apple can ruin the bunch, and that's what some of these people are. So I don't know what the answer is. I mean this, like most of your tailgaters, by the way, they're going to be season ticket holders. They are. You know, there's certain things that teams do to vet fans, people, media that's going to have access to the team. I don't know. Maybe you limit the amount of places you can tailgate. I know some stadiums do that for sure. It just I hate having that come out of my mouth because again, I have had nothing but wonderful tailgate experiences during my lifetime. Responsible, fun. I mean, dating back to Sacramento gold miners days. So yeah, I can't stand it. But Ryder Cup, come on, you got to drop the prices. Keegan Bradley, do something about that. All right. At this point, you're not even there for the sporting. Exactly. Yeah, 100%, Dorian. 100%. Dorian, I bet if you walked up to somebody, like, okay, let's play this out. Oh, another fight here on X. Big surprise. Oh, there's the cops. Both of them are handcuffed. Pause. I bet if you walked up at that point while those dudes are handcuffed and you reached right here, back of their shirt, you would pull a tag out that's still attached to the jerseys that they're wearing. It's that type of fan, right? Like you get hammered in the parking lot and, oh, now I'm going to get a jersey. And then you keep getting hammered at the game. And now you've got colors on. You can tell the other people that are rooting for the other team because they have colors on. And now all of a sudden, you know, you are just as important to the outcome of the game as the guys on the field with shoulder pads and the same jersey on. You might as well be on the sidelines. You're going to defend your area on the concourse. Like, it's stupid. It's idiotic. You can profile though. Everybody knows one of those guys. I know a handful of them. I do. You know who I'm talking about. You know that friend. Some of you might do that with the San Francisco Giants. I did that with the San Francisco Giants. I'll be honest with you. When they were winning, hell yeah. I'll rock some Giants gear. I'll watch baseball. It's fun. I'm not really a baseball guy, so I've been there. No, I'm not starting fights. Not dropping $200 at games on drinks, but you get my point. Hey, we've got a loaded day today. We've got a lot going on. We have Spud Webb scheduled to join us at 3:25 today on Fox Sports Sacramento. Also, Byron Scott is scheduled to join us later today as well. I believe right around the 5 o'clock hour, I want to say. So looking forward to getting to the station and getting prepped for that. Don't miss the Spud Webb interview. That's going to be good. I told, are those fans called 12s? Yeah, nice. Now, look, I get it. I hear it all the time. 12th bags. I get it. I know. Some of the 12s are baggy. I get it. I do. I conceded that point to Jim Rome a very long time ago. I just said, go ahead. So you're the 12th bag? Yep, that's me. Good morning, BJ. Anyways, I told Grant for the Spud Webb interview because we've had a couple of really funny moments on the show involving guests and telling Spud Webb stories. And Grant wants me to have that audio ready to play. And I was like, Grant, dude, I am not participating in the roast of Spud Webb. Like, when I call Spud to get him on the phone and be like, Mr. Webb, hey, it's Ryan in Sacramento with Fox Sports Sac. Yeah, hey, yeah, your audio sounds good. Grant will be with you in about 60 seconds. Thank you so much for making the time today. And by the way, I just want you to know I had nothing to do with anything that plays during this segment. Click. That's what I'm going to say. That's what I'm going to say. Book it. But no, make sure you're there for Spud. That's going to be a fun one. If you missed my update on what's going on with the podcast, go back. You can listen to that on replay here on YouTube. On if you don't like that, again, we are starting to ramp up for the season. Just because we are on the radio does not mean anything changes around here in terms of Kings game day coverage. In fact, it's going to get amplified. I will probably be doing some of the post-game shows from the Golden One Center, which will be cool. We'll try to mix in some live access right there on the spot. This season, Jerry Reynolds will be joining in for some of the shows as well. So make sure you are subscribed. Give us a thumbs up. And again, Grant will be back 7 o'clock tonight. But before that, we are going to be taking the show to Fox Sports. So make sure that you listen today. Fox Sports Radio 104.7, 890 AM. Best way to listen. If you don't want to be interrupted by getting in and out of the car, download the Fox Sports Sacramento app. You can listen to the show anywhere while using the app. All right, that's it. We're out. We'll be back tomorrow. My thanks to all of you in the chat. My thanks to Mr. Moss for calling in. Looking forward to catching back up with y'all. 3 o'clock, Grant Napier Show, Fox Sports Radio. Till then, courts dismissed.